Hey there ukulele fans, thanks for joining ImGonnaUke. My name's Tony, and in this video today I want to teach you how to play Dream a Little Dream. This is a famous jazz classic. It's been covered by tons of famous singers, and I think it's definitely a song you should have in your bag of ukulele tunes. Now in this video, I'll teach you a more beginner-friendly way of how to play this song, but I'm going to have a part 2 follow-up video of how to play the same song, but at what I would call a more intermediate or more advanced level of play. So I'll teach you a few more bar chords, I'll teach you how to mute strum, and then also open position versus closed position chords. If you're interested in that, be sure to click subscribe and don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss out on any upcoming video. Remember, these lessons are totally free, so by you joining the channel, it helps me know that you enjoy the content and that it also keeps growing the channel and the community. If you're just now learning the ukulele, I wouldn't suggest this song as your first song, but Dream a Little Dream, it is still a beginner-friendly song. It does have some flat chords, some minor chords, and there is one bar chord, which I'll show you how to play that. And if you're having trouble with bar chords, I'm going to show you a trick on how to kind of get around that chord. Plus the song has a fun key change right in the middle, which I kind of think it actually makes it easier to sing. Depending on what key you play this song in, it definitely could be more challenging, but I've transposed it and simplified the chords in the key of C, and the key change in the middle of the song is in the key of A. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. I'm going to walk you through all the chords and the song step by step. So grab your uke, tune it up, and I think we're going to uke. All right, first let's dive into the chords. I'll walk you through the whole chord progression of the song. So it starts with C major. It should be pretty comfortable for everybody. Now, normally I'll teach you to always play the C major with your third finger, but for this particular song, I want to teach you to play C major using your second finger. So it's still the same string, it's still the first string on the third fret. But the reason is because in the chord progression, the very next chord after C is a B7. So B7, it is a bar chord, so don't be scared, don't run away. I'll teach you an easy way to play it. So remember, for a bar chord, you want to try to use the fleshy, soft part of your finger and pinch. And you might have to pinch with your thumb in the middle of the neck of the ukulele and try to pinch down, just like you're pinching like your nose or something. Try to pinch down to where you hear a nice clean tone for all the strings. If you're hearing some dead strings, that means you're not pushing down hard enough. So try to push down. And if you need help, you can use your second finger. It's the next door neighbor. So you can kind of push down like with both fingers to help. And if that's still not comfortable, another trick that I always teach is that you can use the hard side part of your finger, kind of the bony side of your finger. So you might have to bring your elbow in just a little bit, but you could use the hard part of your finger, and it should be a little bit easier to get a clean tone on all the strings when you strum through. All right, so that B7, you are barring that second fret, and you put your second finger on the third string on the third fret. That's a B7. Okay. So that's the reason, because you're changing from a C to a B7 pretty quick. Okay, so that's why maybe for this song, try to play it with your second finger. If you can play it with your third finger and switch to a B7 with no problem, then do that. But I think using the second finger for this song works out a little bit easier. Okay. The next chord that we need is a G major, which is your first finger on the third string on the second fret, your second finger on the first string on the second fret, and your third finger is on the second string on the third fret. There's your G major. Now, just like any major chord, a chord is made up of 3 notes. So as long as you're playing these 3 notes, you're playing a G major. So this is a D, G, and a B note. Okay. Now you do have this top G string up here, and it's the same note. It's the same note as the whole G chord. That's why you don't have to hold down this top string. But a thing that you can do is, as long as you play a B, G, or a D, you're still playing the G major chord. So instead of having this open G string here, you've got a B note right here, because you have a G, that open string is G, G sharp, A sharp, B. That fourth string is a B. So when you're playing your G major, for this song, I want to teach you kind of a trick, a way you can play an A flat a little easier, is that you have your G major and the shape of your fingers in a G major shape, and use that free pinky and hold down that B note. It's the 4th fret. It's the 4th string and the 4th fret. It sounds exactly the same as your G major, but technically it has a B bass to it. And the reason I want to show you this is because in this chord progression, you have to play an A flat. So an A flat, now keep your fingers just like this. Where you're playing a G major shape, you're putting your pinky on that 4th fret of the G string, which is a B note. Keep your hand the same position, same fingering, and slide all your fingers down 1 fret. Slide all your fingers down 1 fret. Now you're playing an A flat. You're playing an A flat chord right here. Okay? So same thing. So as long as your fingers stay the same shape, you can play your A flat. And in the chord progression, there's an A flat, and then right after that comes a G. So you can play this, which is kind of like your G shape, and then slide up, or actually playing lower, to a G major. So you're going to play an A flat, G. So that's going to come in handy. It might take a little bit of practice to play an A flat, or to play a G and then add this B note to a bass to it. Hopefully it should feel comfortable. It might take a little bit of practice, but I find this is an easier way to play an A flat here, and then just keep your fingers and slide up to a G. Then after that, we have an A7, which is just your first finger on the 3rd string on the 1st fret. Pretty easy, especially compared to an A flat. We have an A7. And next we have an F major, which should be familiar. That's your first finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret, and your second finger on the 4th string on the 2nd fret is an F major. Then after an F major, we have an F minor. So that's your first finger on the 4th string, 1st fret, your second finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret, and then use your pinky. If you can use your 3rd finger too, but I find it more comfortable to use my pinky, my 4th finger, on the 1st string on the 3rd fret for your F minor. This is a common chord that pops up a lot in jazz tunes, so you should become familiar with it. All right, next we have our G7, which you should have learned before, the G7. So it's kind of like a regular upward facing triangle compared to our G. If you look at the shape of your fingers and imagine it as an upside down triangle, and then a G7 would be the right side up triangle, as a G7. And now keep your fingers in this shape when you're playing a G7, and then just move your number 1 finger to the 4th string, but on the 1st fret. There's your E7. Now remember, I mentioned there was a key change in the song. So in the key change, it does use those same chords, but there's a couple new chords that are introduced in the key change. So it's an A major, which should be fairly easy. That's your first finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret, and your second finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. There's an A major. And then there's a G flat minor, which it sounds funny, but it's easy to play. If you're playing an A major, just add your 3rd finger, your ring finger, add your 3rd finger to the 2nd string on the 2nd fret. Now just how, like I showed you earlier, how a G is the same as the same shape, right? You have an A flat here, but an A flat is also the same name as a G sharp. So you have a G, you're playing higher 1 fret as a G sharp, but it's also called an A flat. Same thing when you're playing your G flat minor, this is also known as an F sharp minor. So depending on, if you look at some other chord sites for ukuleles, you might see this listed as an F sharp minor, but it's the same as a G flat minor, same name. Then next we have a B minor, which this is technically supposed to play it in a bar chord, where you bar the whole 2nd fret and you put your 3rd finger on the 4th string on the 4th fret. But you can kind of get away with it by just playing the same shape as an E minor, but you play your first finger on the 2nd string, 2nd fret, your second finger on the 3rd string, 3rd fret, and your 3rd finger on the 4th string, 4th fret. You can kind of get away playing a B minor this way, but even though this is really the B minor. And then last chord is the E major. So you can play it, hopefully if this feels all right for you, comfortable, you can put your first finger on the first string, second fret, and then your second, third, and fourth finger on the fourth, third, and second string, all on the fourth fret. There's your E major. Now if you notice the strings that you're holding down for your second, third, and fourth, that E major, if you were to slide these three fingers up 2 frets, you have an E as an E major, E flat, D, right? So if you play a D this way and you slide it down 2 frets, there's your E major. Now I'll play it a lot of times with my third finger and just kind of semi or half bar the second, third, and fourth string. So this is the way I'll play it. But if that's not comfortable, or if that's a bit a stretch for you, then go ahead and play your second, third, and fourth fingers on the fourth, third, and second strings, all on the fourth fret, and then your first finger is the first string on the second fret. You can play this way. So as long as you're holding the same notes, it's the same chord, okay? Even if you use different fingers, it doesn't matter really. Now onto the strum. Because this is a beginner-friendly tutorial, we'll just keep the strum very simple. Just down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay? You can vary it if you want to, since it is a jazz song after all. But for this tutorial, we'll just keep it simple. Just down, up, down, up, down, up. But a thing I do want to kind of help you do is make sure your up strum is just as strong as your down strum. Okay? And I'll show it'll come out in the song. I'm going to play through the first verse, kind of slow at first, and I'll have the chord charts listed above. So I want you to kind of get used to playing the chords, the chord progression, and even the chord changes. Because some of them are quick, like a C to a B7 is a quick change. And that A flat, if you're not used to this chord shape, it might take a little bit of practice to get that A flat to G. And if you need to rewatch the video a couple times, that's fine. Just rewatch it at your own pace. All right, so let's go. So that first line starts off with a C, B7, A flat. And then so I think it's kind of fun to kind of pause or emphasize that change from A flat to G. So you don't have to play a down up, just leave it as a down. So stars shining bright above you. Now the next line starts off with a C major again, B7, then an A, and then an A7. So to switch from A to A7, you just have to remove that second finger. There's your A7. And then the next verse, or the next line, is F major, that you play for a whole measure, and then you switch to an F minor. Now the next chord you play is a C, so really you could just lift off your first and second finger and leave your pinky there. But what I want you to do is get ready for that next change to an A flat. So in this case, after you play that F minor, switch it to your second finger. So you're playing that C with that second finger. And if you look, your fingers, if you leave that second finger there, you're helping yourself out because you're already getting in the position for that A flat, which comes next. Okay? Then you have the A flat, you slide up to a G. And then just for fun, we can play a G7 to transition to the next verse. Let's just keep rolling right into verse 2. Starts with that C. Say nightie-night and kiss me. Just hold me and tell me you miss me. While I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. So that E7 is indicating we're going to do a key change. So now we're at the key change. So now we're going to play it in the key of A. So A, then this G flat minor, which all you have to do is just add that third finger on the second string, second fret from your A. So you have A, G flat minor, then a B minor. Now remember I said if you're having trouble with a bar B minor, which is the normal B minor, you can kind of cheat and play B minor this way, where your first finger is on the